As the debate over a divisive concepts bill rages on across the state, one of the bill's primary sponsors is getting some additional attention after her interview with News 5.
Sarah Fowler Arthur spoke with us earlier this month about that legislation, and some of her comments are now raising concern.
But there's nothing divisive about learning about the Holocaust.
House Bill 327 could change the way topics considered controversial are taught in public institutions. Now, our State House reporter Morgan Trow revisits that interview with reaction now from educators and leaders from Ohio's Jewish community. And we need to warn you right now, this report contains strong images of the Holocaust that could be triggering for some viewers.
Before my Zoom interview with Representative Sarah Fowler Arthur, I asked for her to turn on her camera. She declined to do so. About 23 minutes into our conversation, I asked a question about the financial aspect of the bill. When attempting to talk about the funding, she brought up the Holocaust.
You should talk about these atrocities that have happened in history, but you also do have an obligation to point out the value that each individual brings to the table.
The interview with Fowler Arthur left us with questions about some of her statements she made about the Holocaust and how this important part of world history would be taught under House Bill 327. After multiple editorial meetings with the News 5 team, we decided to share the interview with the Anti-Defamation League, the Maltz Museum of Jewish Heritage, and the Ohio Education Association.
There are moments in our history where there is not two sides to debate. There's a right side and a wrong side.
In the case of the Holocaust, we're talking about state-sponsored mass murder.
Here is some of what Fowler Arthur said.
What we do not want is for someone to come in and say, well, obviously the German government was right in saying that an Aryan race is superior to all other races, and therefore that they were acting rightly when they murdered hundreds of thousands of people for having a different color of skin.
James Pash with the Anti-Defamation League is concerned that Fowler Arthur is unaware of how many people were murdered and why. And Dahlia Fisher with the Maltz Museum is worried that the representative believes Judaism is a race.
And the significance of this is that Hitler and the Nazis were the ones who categorized the Jews into a race. I would say that if someone was to use that language today, it would be an act of anti-Semitism.
There's no baseline of even education there that 6 million Jews were systematically murdered and millions of others. I can't think of a more important need or call out for the need of increased education.
Then Fowler Arthur made statements about hearing multiple points of view on the Holocaust.
Or maybe you're listening to it from the perspective of a Jewish person that has gone through the tragedies that took place. And maybe you listen to it from the perspective of a German soldier.
Of the German soldiers or the Nazis, would she feel the same way about like 9/11? Does she want the perspective of the hijackers who flew the planes into buildings? No, because there's moral absolutes, right? And so there aren't two sides.
After our conversations, we tried to follow up with Fowler Arthur. Hi, this is Morgan Trow. We called and left voicemails and sent numerous emails to her and her team, detailing the major concerns that the organizations brought up. We also texted and even sought her out at the State House, including Tuesday morning at a committee hearing. Her team refused to do follow-up interviews to allow her to clarify her comments and help our viewers understand how this bill could impact the teaching of subjects like the Holocaust. Now, educators are concerned about the potential implications of the unclear bill.
Very frustrated when politicians make decisions about what happens in our classrooms and don't trust the judgment of teachers.
Sarah Fowler Arthur was previously on the State Board of Education, but has never participated in the public school system as a student or as a parent. She was homeschooled and never attended college. Each of the organizations I spoke to say they want to keep education in the hands of the educators. At the State House, Morgan Trout, News 5.
Our thanks to Morgan for that. And to hear the full version of Fowler Arthur's comments, go to about the Holocaust. Just go to our website, that's news5cleveland.com.